Hello everyone, Glass here. Kill Team lives and dies in the hearts of its fans based on its core principles. You need to know how to move, when to go engage, when to push for kills, when to sit back on points, where to position yourself around terrain. This is Kill Team, and strong fundamentals will win the day every day. Except for your first game against a new team, because Kill Team takes this foundation layer of core gameplay and uses the mortar of abilities to stick the bricks of new teams together to make it all work. Almost every team can do something you didn't know could be done in the game. And sometimes some of these abilities might make the strong foundation and buttery smooth mortar of the House of Kill Team seem like a flimsy, dilapidated bit of plasterboard that you can hear the rules writers banging from the other side as their ship takes on water. And that's when you realise they've been using concrete to build a ship and they've had to hack together their own rule set more than I've had to hack together this metaphor. Oh, sorry, I did say like, so this is a simile, not a metaphor. Ooh, English. Every faction, however, is deep enough to have its own full guide, but you've already got so much in your head remembering the core rules, but also the ways in which your team works and breaks the core so you can use them properly. If you were to memorise all the rules for every other faction, you're going to start forgetting your children's names. So here's 3 things that you need to know for every faction. The crazy way they will break a core rule, their big hitter that you don't see coming, the biggest threat you need to neutralise first. Whatever it is, this is the only list you will need. Note that for many of the factions I wanted to give more than just 3 points, but I had to limit myself. Hide my true power level, if you will. But of course, before we dive into the list first, I'd like to give a subscriber-only benefit, and that is a big double hello. Wow, super wholesome. If you want more wholesomeness in your life, then do all of that like eldritch and horrifying YouTube algorithm engagement stuff. Idea for a comment that you could drop would be, once you've heard my list of 3 for your main factions, let me know if I missed a big one. If you're really picking up what I'm putting down, I also have a Patreon, which is basically just a tip jar, a glorified tip jar, but I do try to give you extra videos, unboxings of random things I buy, channel updates, and at certain tiers there's even digital goodies. Look, it really is just a tip jar to say thank you, but I do try and give back. Let's crack on, because there's a lot of factions to get through, and because of that, this is specialist teams only. Going in super faction and then kind of vaguely alphabetical order, so check timestamps to jump to the super faction you're interested in. I will keep these short and sweet, like me. Novitiates, acts of faith lets them stop you from shooting them. Just straight up, you declare the shot and they say, nah. But you're used to hearing that from women, and in GW's woke agenda, no really does mean no. Chalice Lady needs to die, as she is their best faith points generator. They love being on objectives. They will start doing weird stuff when you're near them on an objective. Defenders of the Faith lets 1 model per objective make a shoot or fight action before anything else happens in the turn. If you've played aggressive and not got the kills, they will use this. They also have a tac op that means if you kill 3 of their models on objectives, they will score 2 VP. Oh, yeah, that's why they're good. Hunter Clade. Look, this is supposed to be a team that doesn't understand what they do and how they do it. That's the Adeptus Mechanicus, like, whole vibe. Well, you're going to not understand how they do any of this stuff, so it's pretty on point, I suppose. But they do understand. Whatever. Thematically inconsistent. Their leader allows a second activation within 3 inches of him, which will be used to set up an unobscured plasma shot with no cover. This can't be avoided. You will get overcharged plasmid to the face. Thank you. Rust Stalkers will always be given optimized gate, which makes them very fast, and so they will set up blocking barricades, knowing they can move right over them. They will forward deploy into your heart as you fall in love with a single infiltrator that will guarantee an objective and their signal beacon in turn 1. Oh, and will be blocking a door, limiting your movement. So that's super duper. That's great. I love that. Woo! Such a hard, complex play. Such skill. Elucidian Starstriders. The real gotcha is that they look like a motley group of regular humans, so you kind of expect them to do regular human things like every other regular human team does. Nah, bruh. Powerful ship assets that can be fired from a vantage point with all the benefits of being on a vantage, but while on conceal. Nothing you can do about it. Soz, mate. The Voidmaster has a great shotgun and is usually the most killy model on their team. Watch out for him, way stronger than he looks. They are incredibly reliable with the ability to get attack rerolls, attack retains, extra APL and GA2 when and where they need it. They can all but guarantee to remove any model they want when they choose to do it. Exaction Squad. A team of Judge Dreads without the potential to super coolly whisper centrally to their guns to hit you with different shot types. So instead they just wreck you with their shields and then punishing damage profiles into human and Eldar teams, and they will parry you out, chip damage you, and then finish you with a shotgun to the back of the head. However, you have one activation to stop this from happening, as it's not a GA2 thing, but that is still what they're going to do. You won't stop it. Their strobe lumens turn off rerolls very efficiently. If you rely on rerolls, you won't get them. This means don't ever spend CP on a strat ploy that gives you rerolls into them. Intercession, I'm looking at you. Now we all love some doggy, and oddly I'm not talking about the Gimp Mask guy, which is weird considering how I started that sentence. I of course mean the Leash Master and Rover are an amazing combo that when combined are pretty much guaranteed to kill whatever they go into, as they can activate at the same time and alternate actions within their activations. Try and kill them before they get into your lines. Navy Breachers. These aren't space cops like the Exaction Squad, these are space rent-a-cop. If they gave rent-a-cops shotguns and hatchets. I guess we're in Space America because I think that is actually just regular cops. Blitz is a ploy that lets them retain a crit if they're attacking first in the round. Having a guaranteed crit on some of their big hitting models is just really, really good. They have so many rerolls. For defense or attack, naturally and through abilities, they will reroll constantly. Yes, that's right, the most thematically boring but mechanically strong ability in every Games Workshop game. The Humble Reroll. Super fun, great design, love it. Super duper, ooh, fun, rerolling a dice, ooh. The team will always take an Endurant, and you need to know that when one of their guys is touching the Endurance base, you cannot shoot that other guy. Expect this to be used with their main ability Breach and Clear, essentially making it a GA2 move. Inquisitorial Agent. The big gotcha of this team is that it's 8 teams in one, and so you better know every gotcha possible. However, pro tip, if the person running them is running Breachers as the second half of their list, they don't know what they're doing and have just net listed this team and heard Breachers are the best. Or they are a good player and are running Breachers because of it. There's no in between. It's either a gotcha because this is about to be the easiest game of your life, or a gotcha because they are about to beat you so hard you find faith. The Interrogator Agent and Tome Skull will hang around together the whole game essentially, and all friendlies within circle of them will get +1 to their attack characteristic, and if you target one of them you are -1 to your attack characteristic. Absolutely brutal, not gonna lie. Absolute Authority cancels any ploy you want to play, but it can't cancel deployment abilities as the game hasn't started yet, and it can only be used against each ploy once, keep that in mind. There was a nerf. Kasrkin. Now, these chaps, chapesses and chapai are tough nuts to crack, by which I'm really just pointing out they're nuts. Elite points allow them to push through critical hits when they want. Look, this is absolutely no surprise, but in a game of dice, if you have an ability that guarantees you to hit on all of your dice, you're going to be a good team. There you go. Isn't that a shocker, right? This just means if they have a weapon that is P1, really it is a P1. They are very good at getting single kills, so elite teams need to watch out at range. Also, horde teams need to watch out because they really two-shot you and they can guarantee 2 shots with new elite points. Reposition lets a group of them dash before anything else happens in a turning point. If they make a risky play as the final activation, expect them to take it back and get to safety. Forcadia is a ploy that gives them a 5-up Feel No Pain and adds 1 to their normal and crit damage, including if they have the combat blade equipment, and their 8 wounds. So long story short, even though they're purely a ranged team, they can guarantee a crit on you for 5 in melee. Vet Guard, one of the OG teams right out of the gate here, so you'd think they don't have any gotchas and they are the template for everything else, right? Oh gosh, no. Spotter will make your standard deployment wrong, as they can make you count as being engaged, and so they will be able to shoot you. You need to be completely not visible, or you need to be obscured, not just concealed in cover, whether that cover is light or heavy. Into the Breach is always used turn 1. This allows them to dash forwards from the deployment zone. This will let them capture 2 centerline objectives on the first activation, guaranteed, sir. So, if you get the first activation, don't hold off capping a center point to get them on the back foot, okay? Their leader will always have a rosary. This ignores 1 damage of dice. Keep this in mind when you think you're just charging a lame human model that you can kill in 2 hits. No, now it's at least 3 hits, and his power sword will wreck you, sir. Scout Squad. If there's one thing you need to know about the Scouts, it's all about their booby. Traps. You walk into their circle radius on a 4-up, it explodes. But that's not all, it doesn't just explode. It doesn't go away if it doesn't explode, it remains in play until it does explode. Common misconception. For me, because it's not common yet. Scouts have the unique ability to kill you turn 1 without it being an alpha strike. See, alpha strikes tend to be about moving further than you expect and hitting you without you realizing it. Scouts go the other way and they set up an alpha strike that you have to decide to trigger, and they will score VP from secondaries if you walk into these alpha strikes. Weird, right? But they will set the strikes up on your objectives, so if you decide to not trigger the alpha strikes, instead of scoring 2, 3 or even 4 on the primary turn 1, you might only score 1, and that is a really bad place to be to win a game. Scout shotguns are hitting on 2s for 4 damage, and turn 2 they will be using reroll all 1s. This means turn 2 you will 100% take 3 shotguns to the face that have a 90% chance to deal 16 damage to 3 of your operatives. You might think that isn't a gotcha and just like the stats on the datasheet, but I assure you, you need to know this is coming. Turn 2, we all need to know when things are coming. Intercession Squad, their gotchas depend on which chapter tactics they take, but they could potentially be doing everything well. Plus 1 inch to move on a 3 APM model is huge and basically means they will always be able to get an angle on you turn 1 if they take rapid. Dueler makes them very tough to deal with in melee by making their critical hits remove 2 of your attacks when they parry a crit. And then you have Durable, which enhances their already great durability by removing 1 damage from a crit dice each attack, effectively giving them between 2 to 4 extra wounds in a game. Outrageous. Also basic. They just do what's on the sheet, but like they do it really well. Phobos. These are tricky marines. Tricky as in they have tricks, not as in they are tricky to play, because thanks to a few buffs, these guys literally just play 1 strap boy and shoot you, and that's really not hard. And all of their tricks are very different ways. They're just different ways they can shoot you. It's not tricky. Omni Scrambler means that in the strategy phase, they can make one of your models that is visible to an infiltrator unable to activate for several activations. So don't make a risky push hoping for initiative. They will cock block you, then cuck you. Reavers have Terror, which is 0 AP to use, so it's basically always on after they've activated in the turn. They still have to activate, and it means that when you're within square of a Reaver, your models count as being 1 less AP for objectives. But also, if you want to perform a mission action, it costs 1 more AP for you. Then we have Incursors, which will typically only be the marksman and the mine layer who can ignore obscuring, potentially the leader, but not always. This always comes up for me, and honestly it makes the marksman a horror to deal with, and that's not even mentioning his track target, the most poorly worded rule in the game, and this is a game where Necron's reanimation protocols exists. Strikeforce Justian, this is the most basic team, by which I mean that by definition they don't have gotchas. I guess their only real gotcha is that they are across the table from you at all, because by the rules they don't have a legal archetype and you can't play the game without a legal archetype. Justian is going to charge you, smash you with his power fist, and then plasma pistol summon, and he will be successful. He's very good. Watch out. The sniper has a choice of 3 ammo types and is super effective and able to ignore obscuring for an AP. He's got silent and a camo cloak, so once he's in a sniper nest, he's unshiftable, sir. The heavy intercessor, however, is slow, and that's all you've got going for you. Well, that and a typo. Because his heavy didn't even get FAQ'd. Anyway, because his heavy bolter can shoot twice and he's got 18 wounds, don't give him any shots if you can help it. Gellerpox Infected. The big hulks will ground you into dust. They are a distraction, Khaine effects, and a DPS check. You can either handle them, or you can't. Glitchlings are these little nurgling looking dudes, and within 3 inches of them, you are -1 to your number of attacks. If you want to understand kill team maths, try playing a game where you throw 1 fewer dice in each of your attacks, and you'll see how big that is, okay? Drawn to the hum. Lets every model within 6 inches of an objective marker dash, as long as they finish closer to that objective marker. Don't get it twisted, my boy. Finishing closer to an objective marker is not the same as finishing directly closer to an objective marker, okay? Expect this to be played at the worst possible moment. At least if they play it first thing round 1, it's out of the way, even if it has screwed up your turn 1 decisions. Legionary. Legionary are actually the sneakiest team in the game because they've been super strong since their release, but somehow haven't been nerfed. The only nerf they got was 1 to the entire game's treatment of damage reduction. And we don't claim that Vetguard got specifically nerfed by grenade spam removal anymore, do we? This is like 4 teams in 1, okay? So just keep in mind, whatever you do, Legionary will murder bang your corpse. Very chaos, I know. But their leader and or icon bearer lets them perform a god-specific ability for no CP. Nurgle can take their cover retain and make it a cover crit retain, and then when you hit them, they subtract 1 for the damage. Still easily the best pick in this team despite the nerf, and I use the word nerf lightly. Tzeentch are the new ones to look out for. Their weapons get lethal 5 for 1 dice in shooting if they roll a crit in defense. A fail becomes a normal save, and they can +1 APL when they need to. 4 APL Marines are called Custodes. You can't trick me. Also, involves. But whatever, who cares? Not a big deal. And then you see that gunner with a plasma and or melter. Yeah, he's 5 dice hitting on 3s, 3/5 damage in melee because he was given the Malefic Blade equipment. The best melee equipment in the game. Do not charge him. But also, don't let him shoot you because plasma melter, right? GGWP. Blooded. More like bloody good show, old chap. A bunch of weaklings that turn out to be great after months of everyone thinking they were genuinely the worst team in the game. Below many compendium teams even. It's a real underdog tale. Let's talk Brimstone Grenadier. Or Grenadier. It's Grenadier, yeah, probably. This guy goes beast mode with his Diabolic Bomb. It's a grenade with splash 2, really good, and he can blow himself up, which is fun. Alright, cool. The Ogryn is the goodest boy with 16 wounds, deals mortals when he charges you, can be given ceaseless by the Corpse Man. He will, not Corpsman, Corpse Man, it's different wording. He will get 1 good solid kill before you kill him by pouring your entire squad into him. Great, good job. What you've done there is let the opponent have a blooded token unchallenged because you focused elsewhere. Now he's got an auto-hitting plasma. You are screwed. Chaos Cult. Do you have a moment to listen to our Lord and Saviour? Mutation. This stuff is serious, okay? At the start of every turn, they will mutate a devotee up a tier. Stop that. Nah. Kill those mutants ASAP. Their leader does a whole bunch of stuff. If you get the chance to kill the leader, you must take it because he does it all. They will never give you the chance to kill their leader though, let's be clear. Because all of the stuff he does, he doesn't need to be visible to you for. Mind Witch will throw out mortal wounds throughout the game and you can't do anything about it. Deal with it, sucker. And by deal with it, I mean stay away from them because they will just do more mortal wounds to you the closer they are. So yeah, shoot him I guess. Fellgor Ravagers. Fellgor Ravagers are great because the only gotcha they have is they hit you in the face. There doesn't need to be another bullet point, really. All of their opters do one thing, they punch you. I assume they were given pistols as a joke. Frenzy means they will charge you and then not hit you, and that's kind of weird. They're doing that because they want you to fight them so that they die outside of their own activation, which means Frenzy kicks in and they get a free activation after dying. Basically. Essentially, that's what happens. And they will use that to punch you in the face. So, just more punching in the face, really. I guess they also have a Shaman who will give everyone within 3 inches of you. Yeah, Shaman, not Shaman. Get it right. He will give them all Super Conceal, which is so they can get closer to you to punch you in the face. This is not the Thinking Man's team. Warpcoven, however, are the complete opposite. The way Warpcoven win is by thinking too much. Tzeentch is all about having a plan, so step 1 of the plan. All of their ranged weapons have AP 1. The Thinking Man's AP. Step 2, they have access to full range and direct. The Thinking Man's in direct range. Step 3 of the plan, they have access to minus circle from your charge and dash moves. Entire board, every operative. The thinking man's movement debuff, perhaps? No. Blades of Khaine. Blades of Khaine, more like blades of pain in my arse. And you know what that means? They just entered the Eldar section of the video. Hello. Knife ears. Playing into every Eldar team is basically a game of trap or not. Striking scorpions when they fight you deal 2 mortals. You thought your Legionary was safe at 12 wounds from their 5 crit weapons? No. You're really 10 wounds. Screw you, bitch. Scorpions again, and oh look, they just killed your guy. But at least they're out in the open now for you to kill, so I guess the trade wasn't that bad. Incorrect. They just used some technique that they say they can do that lets them free dash and change their order, and now you can't shoot them. They claim they can only use it once per turn, but it seems to happen every time they kill you. Seems very sus. Banshees in mythology herald the death of a family member, and I'm my own family, and they sure do slay me every time they activate, so seems accurate. Also, why did the sculptors focus so much on the booty and the cake? I don't know. Here's what they're going to do. They're going to charge you and fight you and kill you, but that's expected. What they're then going to do is charge you and fight you again. And you're going to say, but how can you charge twice? And they're going to say, actually, it's just a continuation of the original charge. And you're going to keep quiet about it because it's Eldar BS. Correct. They're going to charge you twice and not pay any APL to do it and blah, 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 whatever. Corsair Voidscarred. Corsairs means pirate. Pirates. And what do pirates do after they've been buffed? They deadly ambush you once per turn. If you move within 4 inches of any model, they will charge you and hit you with a power sword. They will be concealed so you can't touch them before. Then they charge you. This creates a board filled with no-go zones. No man land. No man's land, if you will, maybe, I don't know. Or more like sacrificial zones, but they can choose when to do it, so they'll wait for you to move an important piece into range before using this. Their leader has coordinated strike. After he activates, they can immediately activate another operative within 3 inches. It's free reign GA2. Leader plus 1 other model means you've lost a model or they've gained 2 VP. Take your pick, you got wrecked either way. Screw you. Imagine a model that had a melter gun and a bolter and could shoot you both for 1 AP and has 3 APL. That's the Starstorm Duelist. And he can do it within engagement range of you too. So if you charge him, you better have him dead to rights, okay? Hand of the Archon are like Eldar, but if they were too cool for school, alright? You know what a too cool for school gotcha is? Full range melter gun, lol. You know what is too cool for school? 2 mortals on a turn on the 2 up and you count as injured. Like what? Regardless of other rules as well. And then we have Omen though. You know that sniper you've got, or that plasma, or that melter, or just any good gun or melee? Well, no, you have to reroll any 6 you roll. Wrecked. Void Dancer Troop. Oh yeah, so this is the good stuff, right? This is in my veins, please. And they have so many gotchas that only 3 is still going to leave you very, very confused about how this team wrecked you. Entire team has fly. Entire team can't be shot outside of 6 inches. Entire team has 4 pinball save. Moving away from Eldar shenanigans, we get Xenos shenanigans. The big Wyrmblade gotcha has to be hiding. Okay, this is a 6-inch forward deploy played during Turning Point 1. So 2 models remain off the board until they decide to pop cap. After a recent buff, this means you are going to get 2 heavy weapons or 2 grenades dropped in on a vantage point, or if you're a fast team, within circle of you so you don't get cover. And they're going to be able to benefit from Cold Ambush rerolls. Lovely. Cold Ambush rerolls are that when they change their order from concealed to engage, they can reroll all of a certain number. So if they roll all 2s, then they can reroll all the 2s. But also, now, if they begin their activation unseen to the enemy, they get access to all this too. They don't have to just have flipped from concealed to engage. Really good! Then we have the Quicksilver Strike from the Locust. It costs him 1 of his 3 APL to switch the aura on, but then for the rest of the turn, if you move or dash within 3 inches of the guy, he gets to charge you and fight you. This is a great zoning tool, and if he's full health, he straight up wins and kills your operative. Farstalker Kinband are the crudiest of crudes, and let's talk GA2 dogs. Full circle move and compare with the GA2 warriors, so that any time you're fighting a warrior, this guy intercepts and you're fighting 2 of them with combat support guaranteed. Pistolier has quick draw, where if you shoot him, he gets to shoot you first. If you're a valid target to him and shoot him, he gets to shoot first, okay? Dvorgite Skinner, hottest flamer in the West, boy. 6 attacks, hitting on 2s, 2-3 damage, AP2 Torrent Circle. Oh my goodness. Don't let him get in range. Now, he has Cumbersome, so he's very predictable, but if he gets you, my man. Hearthkyn Salvagers have major short king complex, same here, and writing their little girly diaries about it every night as they cry themselves to sleep. And I say that because it's funny to imagine such like testosterone drippingly sexy men as being little girls, and their list of gotchas is just straight up the 3 heavy weapons they are going to take to wreck you, okay? High-las rotary cannon can ignore obscuring and has 6 shots. Etikar Plasma Beamer has beam. What does beam do? It hits every model along that line for D3 mortals. And then the whole thing that makes the faction cool, which, yes, to them, is them writing in their diaries like little girls. It's the Book of Grudges. You kill one of them, and then everyone who shoots you retains a normal as a crit. This is how they get work done, boy. And this pairs with basically all of their ploys to mean a hit is a crit, and you're smashed by their high damage weapons. Dead robots. I mean Hierotek Circle. The biggest gotcha of Hierotek Circle is the wording of their reanimation protocols. How, oh my, really? What were they smoking when they wrote that one? Oh right, crack. I mean, obviously. But here's how it works. You kill their Chapess or Chapai, then once a turn they use a free ploy, or once a turn, if their medic is within 6 inches, they get to say, nah brah, this guy comes back next turn. And sure enough, next turn that guy comes back with D3 plus 3 wounds remaining. Its order changed to what they want, and within 3 inches of where it died, so it's probably safe. Oh, and then everyone on the team regains 2 wounds for lols. And there's no restrictions, so yes, they will be bringing back their big leader. Once. An entire gotcha in itself is one of their leaders, the Chronomancer. Let me tell you how this guy will ruin your day and your life. That 3-circle move is a lie. Firstly, it's 3-circle with fly, but more importantly, he's going to be chronometroned, so it's actually a 9-inch move. And if he's the one, if he's had the Apprentice casted on him, he's moving 12 inches with fly. If you're Horde, he's hitting you with a blast circle, lethal 5 stun, 5 attack weapon. If you're Elites, he's a sniper with an AP 1 mortal wound 3 weapon. On top of that, just for fun, he can make one of the Immortals take a shot during his activation, and he can draw line of sight from the Apprentice to get rerolls. The Death Mark, however, gets to forward deploy, drops in when he wants in turn 1 with dimensional translocation, but the gun is heavy, so no need to worry about it this turn. But okay, fine. Here, just take a point. Not whatever. Well, yes, but actually, best case scenario, you lose a VP to him, right? But here's what they're actually going to do. Drop him in as their last activation on an engage to get around his gun being heavy, because the next activation will be him overwatching you. Kommandos. Sneaky Git is a forward deploy that means you have to stay on conceal, so you're fine. They can't dynamite you or anything mad, all good. Except, of course, the team's special ability lets them charge from conceal. So yes, you are getting turn 1 charge. The Bomb Squig is the true definition of distraction card effects, but oh boy, if you don't deal with it turn 1, it is going to wreck you in turn 2. It will charge you and blow up and basically cause an Armageddon in your team. Breacher Boy is going to make you question everything you thought you knew about terrain, because he could just move through terrain like it's not there. Maps right now are very forgiving to melee teams and filled with doors, so Breach Boy isn't like dominant. But if you're playing on dense terrain without doors, this guy cannot be hidden from and will be given a chopper so he can wreck face from anywhere. It's a bit weird you have to give him a chopper. Whatever, let's move on. Pathfinders. 2 sniper nests with great guns. They can make sure to have every objective covered by their sniper nests. Snipers are normally more of a psychological denial, but Pathfinder snipers are like actual real denial. Best base gun in the game. If they are able to just raw dog a few 4-ups, then a regular dude can one-shot any model in the game. Dice do be swinging. Throughout the game, the Pathfinder player is going to mutter to themselves angrily, make some pretty cringe anime reference, and then place a token by your models. They will hand wave away your question of what does that token do by saying, oh, just some stuff. Let me tell you what it does. Rerolls, no cover, +1 BS. You aren't obscured. Every model acts like it's on a vantage point and shoots you through light cover. And that, chaps, chapesses and chapais, 3 gotchas for every team. And remember, stay humble, stay hydrated, and stay subscribe to my Patreon, where, I tip jar. I give you stuff, you give me stuff. It's a great ecology we've got there. Anyway, if you made it to the end of the video, I'd honestly just like to say thank you so much for watching to the end of the video, and as a reward, I would like to give you a big triple hello. You're cool, I'm cool, Kill Team's cool, games are cool.